Hello friends, I am Shonak Bansal, going to present my recent work on the bilayer graphene, zinc oxide and silicon nanowire based heterojunction photodetector which is published in the IOP Journal of Nanotechnology. In this paper, I have presented the three cell-power photodetectors based on the bilayer graphene, zinc oxide and silicon nanowires. Photodetectors are photosensors which will sense the electromagnetic radiation or the incident optical energy. They will termed as the optical receiver unit, in which reverse bias PN junction photodiodes will convert the optical energy into the electrical signal. That electrical signal can be either voltage or current, hence they are referred to as OE converter, that is optical to electrical converter. Photodetectors are made from the semiconductor materials such as silicon, germanium, third fifth base group material, second sixth group base material, and nowadays we are using the two-dimensional nanomaterials such as graphene and molybdenum disulfide. Photodetector will found their potential application in the fiber optic communication. They can be used as the interconnects. They can be used in the terahertz detection. They can be used in the multi application. They can be used in the imaging. They can be used as a remote sensing, surveillance, and spectroscopy, etc. Photodetector will work in the two mode of operation: photovoltaic mode, in which diode is operating without the bias voltage. They can also work in the reverse bias voltage, which is known as photoconducting mode. So photodiode is the current source with or without the bias voltage. Now, when we fold the light on the photodetector, the photosensitive material will absorb that optical energy and it will generate the charge carrier. This charge carrier will be transported across the depletion region, and by applying the suitable bias to the photodetector, we can collect the charge carrier and it will give the flow of the net photocurrent through the external circuit. Now, the development in the photodetector has been largely focused on pursuing miniaturized photodetector with better response. This is possible due to the photoelectric effect in the photosensitive material. The spectrum of the photodetector will ranges from ultraviolet to the visible to the infrared and to the terahertz. The infrared photodetection scheme is also categorized into the near infrared, short wavelength infrared, mid wavelength infrared, long wavelength infrared, very long wavelength infrared, and far infrared ranges. Unlike the conventional photodetector, the broadband photodetector will offer the ultraviolet, visible, and infrared light-based communication simultaneously. That is, they will increase the application area by using the single device architecture. Till date, much efforts has been done in development of the single broadband photodetectors based on the quantum well and the quantum dots. However, these devices will suffer from the short detection range and relatively slow speed. So, both the choice of the photosensitive material and the device structure are important for the high performance of the photodetector. Ideally, photodetector material should be chosen with energy band gap slightly less than the incident photon energy, which will correspond to the longest operating wavelength of the system. And this will give the high absorption coefficient to ensure the good photo response and low dark current density. The major issue for a photodetector is its compatibility with the its CMOS compatibility, so as to provide the good noise immunity, low power dissipation, high performance and good reliability. So to achieve the high performance and CMOS compatible photodetector, an appropriate material should be chosen. Several semiconductor photosensitive materials including gallium oxide, zinc oxide, gallium nitride, zinc sulfide for the ultraviolet application, silicon for the visible to near infrared, germanium for the near infrared, indium gallium arsenide, indium arsenide for the near infrared to the mid wavelength infrared, and mercury cadmium telluride for the mid wavelength to far infrared, and sector R has to be explored. Among the various bandgap wide bandgap material, zinc oxide, which belong to second sixth group based material, it will demonstrate the wide direct bandgap material with high transparency in the visible region, high ultraviolet absorption coefficient, low cost, easy synthesis process, and better chemical and thermal stability at the room temperature. Intrinsically speaking, zinc oxide is the N-type, so we can make the direct p-n heterojunctions. Now, due to the better optoelectronic properties and low temperature deposition process and low fabrication cost, the zinc oxide nanowire and p-type silicon heterojunction is preferable choices. Silicon is preferred for the fabrication of the visible and near infrared photodetector due to its abundance and cost-effective fabrication processes. At present, several conventional photodetectors will use the silicon as a photosensitive material. But silicon photodetector has the low band gap of the 1.12 electron volt. It will show the large dark current density, low efficiency, low photocurrent responsivity, and limited spectrum due to the small band gap energy and the low absorption. They have the small temperature variation and high reflection coefficient. So to remove these difficulties, we can make the heterostructure of the silicon with the wide bandgap material. But on the other hand, germanium photodetector will have the large dark current density as compared to silicon photodetector due to the low band gap as compared to silicon, and that are not recommended at the short wavelength. So we can make the direct band gap third, fifth, or second, sixth group alloy for the longer spectrum region. Nowadays, low-dimensional 2D materials such as graphene, MOS2, black phosphor, and hexagonal boron nitride has been explored for the next generation photodetectors. Graphene offers the excellent electrical and optical properties, so it can be the better candidate choice for the ultraviolet to infrared photo detection. So graphene photodetector will offer the high wavelength operating range. They will have the high speed operation due to their high carrier saturation velocity and short carrier lifetime. Graphene photodetector has the potential in the device and system integration, so they can be transferred to any substrate, so integration is easy. They will exhibit the high quantum efficiency. We can tune the Fermi level, and we can tune the broad absorption of the graphene from ultraviolet to far infrared by applying the external gate and doping. But graphene has now been successfully composite with the different materials such as zinc oxide, silicon, cadmium sulfide for the ultraviolet application, gallium nitride for the visible application, and silicon, germanium, lead sulfide, and gallium arsenide for the infrared application. But graphene photodetector will suffer with some limitation because it has the small band gap and the small optic absorption in the monolayer graphene about 2.3%. They will suffer from the high dark current density and limited photocurrent responsivity and photosensitivity. So we can use the few layer graphene or bilayer graphene. We can shift the Fermi level by doping. It will create the band gap, and we can extend the spectral response of the graphene photodetector by making its heterostructure with the other semiconductor materials. The p-type doping of the graphene can be achieved through the nitric acid, ferrichloride, gold trichloride, thionyl chloride, and niobium chloride via the chemical vaporization technique. The n-type doping of the graphene can be achieved through the zinc magnesium or with the aluminum nanoparticle. By growing the graphene on silicon carbide, it will give the n-doped graphene, and to the best of my knowledge, a maximum band gap of 430 millielectron is found in the p-type graphene, which will increase the conductivity and also carry concentration of the graphene layers. Now compare with the planar counterparts, and where various nanostructure, nanowire will provide the will reduce the light reflection. It will avoid the need for the anti-reflection coating. They will provide the large surface area for the light harvesting, better absorption, reduce the semiconductor material, fast charge transport, and increase the charge collections. So in my work, I have proposed the three different photodetector architectures in which n-type, highly doped n-type zinc oxide nanowire are here, and on the nanowire I have deposited the p-type bilayer graphene. It is termed as device 1, and in the device 2, highly doped silicon nanowire are sandwiched between the highly doped bilayer graphene and lightly doped silicon substrate. In the device 3, the highly doped zinc oxide nanowires are sandwiched between the highly doped bilayer graphene and the lightly doped silicon. They will work under both the cell power mode and the photoconductive mode at the 300 Kelvin. And from the result, it was found that dual junction photodetector will cover the broadband spectral response from the ultraviolet to near infrared range, and dual heterojunction, which is device 3, photodetector will exhibit the low dark current density and low parasitic impedance and low tunneling current due to the high electric field at the heterojunctions. So this is the device architecture for the device 1 and device 2 and device 3, in which graphene is deposited on the top of the three devices, and ohmic conductor made as the anode and cathode. And in order to determine the orientation, diameter, and position of the nanowire, a thin seed layer is added in the three device architecture. And this is the equivalent circuit of the device 1, device 2, and device 3, in which this is a single nanowire and this is p-type bilayer graphene. And in the device 2 and device 3, we have here the back-to-back diodes. means we have the two asymmetric back-to-back heterojunction device on the top and bottom surface. So these are the simulation parameters which I use in the simulation purpose. Now, upon the absorption of the light, the electron will move to the conduction band and the holes will move towards the p-type bilayer graphene. That's why there is a band bending. And due to the different work function of the graphene, zinc oxide and silicon, there is a heterojunction barrier at the interface. So similarly, here we have the high electric field here, which will separate the charge carrier. Similarly, in the device 2, there is also a heterojunction here between the graphene and silicon, and there is a homojunction between the silicon and silicon. And there is a generation of the electric field at the heterojunction and the homojunction. This electric field helps to separate the charge carrier. Similarly, in the device 3, we have the heterojunction between the silicon and bilayer graphene and silicon and the zinc oxide nanowires. And there is also generation of the electric field which will separate the charge carrier among the devices. So in the electrical characterization, I have plotted the dark current density with the voltage and found that the dark current density for all the devices closely match with the analytical expressions. And in the case of the light current density with the light current density and voltage curve for the device 1 will decrease with the wavelength from 350 to 800 nanometer with the maximum light intensity at the 350 nanometer. This decreasing current is due to the more recombination of the charge carrier at the high wavelength. And this 350 nanometer will work as a center or cutoff wavelength for the device 1. Similarly, in the device 2, the J light versus voltage curve will increase with the wavelength from 350 to 580 nanometer with the light 580 with the J light of the 580 nanometer maximum, and it will center wavelength for the device 2 because this is due to because in this case the zinc oxide and bilayer graphene will absorb the light. In the case of device 3, the J light versus voltage curve will increase with the wavelength from 350 to 480 nanometer with a maximum light intensity at the 480 nanometer. In the device 3, this is due to the cumulative effect of the zinc oxide, nanowire, bilayer graphene and silicon. That's why there is a shift in the maximum at the 480 nanometer. And from the simulation parameter, it was found that device 3 will show the high photocurrent density as compared to device 1 and device 2 due to the presence of the heterojunction, which will give the high electric field at the interface. In order to determine the photo switching and the photo detection speed of the photo detectors, the photo switching response was recorded. The light was switched on and off for the 10 nanoseconds, and we recorded the photocurrent density, and it was clear from this figure A that device 1 will show the sharp and rapid photo switching, and whereas device 2 and device 3 will show the persistent photo switching with a slow exponential and decay of the current density under the illumination and dark condition. So when light is intensity is whole, it was shown that the light current density will increase linearly with the power, and it will follow the power law, which is J light is equal to C into P in ratio of theta. C is the constant here, which was found to be 0.12 for the device 1 and 0.2 for the device 2 and device 3, and this theta is the fitting parameters, and linear relationship among the J light and the P in will indicates that the combination loss is negligible for the proposed devices. So these are the performance parameters at 100 to 1000 milliwatt per centimeter square intensity, and it was found that device 3 will show the better light current density, better photosensitivity, that is J light ratio versus J dark, and better linear dynamic range. But the response time of the device 1 was better, and fall time is also better for the device 1 as compared to device 2 and device 3. This is due to the presence of the two dual junction for the device 1, device 2 and device 3, which will provide the additional carrier recombination probability leading to large switching time. So in the optical characterization, I have plotted the external quantum efficiency and noise equivalent power, and it was found that quantum efficiency is the wavelength dependent gain of the photodetector, and it was found that after center frequency, which is 350 for the device 1, 580 for the device 2 and 480 for the device 3, the quantum efficiency will decrease due to the more recombination with the wavelength, and quantum efficiency and noise equivalent power will closely match with the analytical expression, and it was found that device 1 has the quantum efficiency of the 56%, device 2 has a 50%, and device 3 has a 71% at the bias of minus 0.5 volt at 300 Kelvin. Device 3 will show the better quantum efficiency and the noise equivalent power. The minimum noise equivalent power will show that the photo detector are more sensitive photo detections, and device 2 has the low quantum efficiency due to the indirect band gap of the silicon. So these are the performance parameters which I obtained at a reverse bias of minus 0.5 volt and 300 Kelvin. So in conclusion, I have proposed the highly efficient bilayer graphene, which is PDOF, and nanowire based silicon and dual junction broadband photodetector at 300 Kelvin. Three different architectures were proposed here, which is based on the single heterojunction nanowire, one heterojunction and one homojunction, and dual heterojunction photodetector. All the optoelectronic properties are measured by using the computer simulation, which were further and validated by the analytical model based on the depth diffusion approach. The enhancement in photocurrent density was found for all the devices due to the efficient carrier generation at the heterointerface of the bilayer graphene and nanowire. And dual junction photodetector will cover the broadband spectral region from ultraviolet to near infrared. And it was also found that the dual heterojunction photodetector, that is device 3, will exhibit the better optoelectronic properties due to the presence of huge electric field at the interface. And this electric field will accelerate the photogenetic electron to the electrode, resulting in the effective collection of the photogenetic charge carriers. So device 3 will cover the broadband spectral region. Thank you, and you can cite my paper with this. Thank you guys.